Hello, 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 hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, 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 welcome. It is Sunday the 9th of February. We are more or less 1 week away from Arsenal again kicking off its Premier League campaign, and basically in hopes that we can actually achieve something. Generally, hopes that we can achieve something. Of course, today there were some FA Cup games. Oh, my camera is doing a madness. I'm very sorry. There were some FA Cup. There were some FA Cup games, and interestingly enough, Plymouth beat Liverpool in the cup, and that was kind of a nuts one. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm in a bit of a caught in between two minds regarding the fact whether it is good or not for Arsenal and how it could go, and whether it's good or not for Liverpool to a certain extent. On one hand, it is good, but on the other hand, it is quite bad. Let's be real. It just depends how you look at things. Big up Nathan, big up my guy, big up, big up, big up, big up. Big up Marlon as well, I see you. Big up Marlon. So recently turned into a top gooner, but we will see, of course. But yeah, of course, if you're new around here, smash thumbs up, subscribe, leave your thoughts down in the live chat and we will tackle them. But today on the agenda, we're gonna talk about Arsenal's attacking issues, issues as well, and concerns in the attack. We're gonna look at the future. Basically, we're gonna look a bit into the future, the upcoming games for Arsenal in the league. In Champions League, obviously, we still don't know. We're gonna find out during this week, and yeah, we're gonna see what's gonna happen and we're gonna touch a bit on summer transfer window because that currently because of the things we did in summer and things we have done in January is a rough one. Let's just put it that way. So we're gonna tackle all that. So let's see what we can do. Academy Towns will play more now. I don't think so. I genuinely don't think so because we have two Academy Towns that will play. Don't see anyone else playing too much in that regard. But yeah, one thing I want to say, one thing I need to do before I get into everything, by the way, one thing I need to do is this. I don't know if everyone watched the Liverpool game, by the way, because Liverpool played today the the FA Cup game without Salah. And they went out to the FA Cup. It was kind of a nuts to see. Liverpool had insane amount of chances, arguably, to score, but they never did. And it was a weird one, I'm not gonna lie, because their goalkeeper, by the way, was standing on his head, to say the least. So we'll see how that's gonna go, how that's gonna impact them. But I'm not gonna lie, that goalkeeper was fantastic for Plymouth. He did an excellent job. But yeah, Liverpool are out of the cup, and for me the biggest question is how is that going to impact the future of the season? Because currently I'm kind of confused in that regard. I'm very, very utterly confused because I don't know what's gonna happen, how that's gonna basically affect Liverpool's season. That's what I'm thinking, because it could affect the Liverpool season in two ways. First way, in terms of how Arsenal looked at it, well, many Arsenal fans how looked at that fact. It was bigger fish to fry, more time to relax, more time to chill, more time to recuperate strength. That's how biggest part of Arsenal's fan base looked at it, and in the end, that basically led us to nothing. And at the time, we were chasing the league, and that was happened year before that, and it was all going without everything. It led basically nowhere because Arsenal had the bigger fish to fry. We lost in Champions League, we lost Premier League, we lost everything we could have lost ultimately, and we again ended a trophyless season. The thing about Liverpool is, though, they put a very mix and match Frankenstein team. Endo was at center back, there was no Salah. They were playing many youngsters, I'm not gonna lie, but arguably they should have gotten the job done. As I said before, the Plymouth goalkeeper was standing on his head making saves. Let's just be real. Let's say it pound per pound. But ultimately, it was a major upset. I'm not gonna lie, and that's the beauty of the FA Cup in that regard. That smaller teams obviously can beat also bigger teams. Liverpool played also without Salah. He was given a rest today, and it showed. Liverpool without Salah is losing a certain dimension in the attack. You could tell. The thing about, despite that, they still had numerous chances to score. And the goalkeeper for Plymouth was making amazing saves left, right, and Sarah, let's be real. And you could argue that they should have won, but obviously the game is not played on the paper. The game is played on the pitch, and big ups to Plymouth, because for them that victory is something very, very, very massive. And in terms of how that may impact Liverpool's season, it's very interesting the way I see these things, because they are still in the Carabao Cup. They're in the final. They're gonna play Newcastle. We'll see how that goes and how that gonna end up. They actually might win a trophy already, but I think they could have gone for the quad. Obviously, winning Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Premier League, and Champions League, potentially. Obviously, it's all up in the air. It's all hypotheticals, but they could have, but they won't, obviously, since they are out now. But I think the way I saw Liverpool fans looking at this, it was a disappointment they lost to Plymouth, of course, but ultimately I saw Liverpool fans that were very disappointed. They were genuinely annoyed the fact that they basically, again, they are not getting the trophy they wanted, the FA Cup to some extent, obviously, but then they basically looked at it, fair plays. The same people who said that they were pissed off that Liverpool didn't go through, at the same time they added to that fair plays to Plymouth, good luck to them, and it gives them more time in all the competitions. Basically, that's what they're saying, and they're looking at this in a broader side of view. They're actually giving credit, they're actually being somewhat understanding, and I think it also is because they are in the final of the Carabao Cup. They could win the first trophy already in a month's time, so it will be interesting. They're, at least after group stages, the best team in Champions League, best record and everything. But yeah, the fact that they played today without Salah, basically it showed, because they didn't have as much clinical ability to finish up top as they usually have when Salah is playing. Of course, the midfield also was makeshift. There were no May guys at first, and it showed basically that they played a lot of youngsters. But Liverpool didn't go through, unlucky for them. But I think for them, as much as I hate to say this, it's a blessing in disguise, because when Arsenal obviously went out of all the cups in the third, fourth round, we were going for the title and everything, and the excuse was we are going for it, and we will have time to rest, right? The sad part is, with Liverpool, it's a completely different picture. They're still on top. They're still looking very, very strong. They're looking like they're gonna do things as they need to be done, and it's gonna be hella tough. For them, it's a bit different dimension how they look at things. That is the biggest thing here. For me, for Liverpool, it's just a perspective how they look at these things, in my opinion at least. Here. Yeah, Liverpool. Big up Kwame, big up my guy, big up Kwame. Well done Plymouth, I'm so glad Liverpool agreed of quadruple. True, but that for... You think Liverpool will end with Premier League title only? Well, Champions League, it all depends. Obviously, the draw is very circumstantial, so that will say. You don't think they're gonna win the Carabao Cup? Because they have the final against Newcastle. You think Newcastle will finally win a trophy in like 40 years there? You think? So that will be very, very interesting. So yeah. Oi. Big up Nathan again. Only way we get a chance is if Liverpool have serious injuries. Exactly, that is the biggest thing. Because looking at this thing for Arsenal, I'm not gonna lie, it's weird because Arsenal, quote unquote, they are not doing bad in terms of, at least on paper. In reality, it's looking 10 times worse. And as I said, the game is played on the pitch and not on the paper, and that's why I'm very, very worried in that regard. Because if you look at in Premier League currently, obviously Arsenal are sitting second. They're 6 points behind. During the midweek, Liverpool are playing Everton, right? So they're gonna play the game in hand. So by the time Premier League fully returns with the last 14 games, we could be 9 points behind. And that is a 4-game swing, which is very hard to basically come back from. Especially in terms of Arsenal, how we are playing. And on the pitch, it's very lackluster currently. And that is a big, big worry for me personally. And yeah, in the 14 games, it's pretty much inevitable that Liverpool are going to drop points. I'm going to be honest with you. But at the same time, it's also inevitable that Arsenal are going to drop points. And in the current stage, the way I see these things, at least from my point of view, there's a bigger chance of Arsenal dropping points than Liverpool, and to a bigger extent. Because Liverpool, you can call it luck, you can call it whatever you want, but they're getting the job done. In 23 games, they have only 1 loss, they have 5 draws and 17 wins. Might not be a big thing, but at the same time, it's a very big thing. They have scored more, they've conceded less than Arsenal, they're doing very well. And long term, it's not looking good for Arsenal, let's just put it that way. Especially with their attacking issues, specifically. Because it's not per se, wait, it's not per se, how did it say last season how did the table look? And that is the big thing. I was about to get to that today. I was about to do this. I'm gonna put match day 24. I was about to do this, and this is how the table looked last year on match day 24. I probably could zoom in a bit more so you can see maybe a bit better in that regard, at least like this. So basically you can see what's happening here, obviously. So the table looked like this on match day 24 last year. Arsenal were third on match day 24, and they were only 3 points behind the first place, and Liverpool were up there as well. So technically, quote unquote, we are not that far down. We have scored 4 goals more last year, and we had conceded the same amount of goals last year. But at the same time, the biggest issue for me is the fact that last year should have been Arsenal's year. And all the summer I got told that Arsenal team is built for the time when City has a downfall. And currently City has a downfall, a massive one to say the least, and Arsenal still are not getting the job done. That's the biggest thing. The Arsenal have the team to basically capitalize on when City has a disastrous season. City are having a disastrous season for their standards, and Arsenal still are bottling it. Let's be real. For the way how it should be played, Arsenal are bottling it to big extent as well, given how we have done things. At the same time, credit where credit is due to Liverpool, because the manager has came in. He has proven winners in his squad. Salah, Van Dijk, Jota. He has obviously Alisson, Trent even, Robertson. He has proven winners in his team that have won Champions Leagues, that have won Premier Leagues. They know how to get the job done, how to get things over the line, how to win trophies. They have the mentality, they know how to do it. Plus, they all have this manager who basically has come in out from the Netherlands, right, from Eredivisie, and people say, oh, what he's gonna do. And he has taken the league to some extent by surprise, because after Jurgen Klopp, everyone expected a bit of a drop-off. Let's be real. I expected that as well and everything, but it's not happening. Basically, Liverpool and Slot have found the perfect balance for the team. He's not playing super rock and roll football like Klopp did. He has managed to find a way with the resources he has and has been given to him how to balance defense with midfield and the attack in a way where he gets the best out of the team. Sometimes it's like blitzing teams. Sometimes just scoring some goals and seeing out the game or coming from behind. Pause. But overall, he has gotten the job done with his tactics and his ideas. It's a big mix between some defense and balance and between the way Klopp used to play. He has managed to find the perfect middle ground to play like this. And that is the big thing which I absolutely didn't expect from Slot. At the same time, Slot has won Eredivisie. He knows how to win trophies as well. So take it as you will. Nobody expected this, but we shouldn't be also surprised. Maybe we should be a bit surprised how, in the fashion they are doing this, because they look unstoppable to a certain extent. But at the same time, nobody should be surprised, because they have winners in the team. They know how to grind out results, they know how to hold out to the leads, and they know how to score goals. They have these players. Yes, they are relying quite heavily on Salah, but Salah is very durable. He's not getting injured. And I personally, I won't be one of those people who will be sitting here and saying, oh, he's relying only on Salah, and if Salah gets injured, they're screwed. I'm not wishing no injuries for anyone. I'm not wishing anything for that. I'm not even counting in the injuries, because Arsenal fans There is no accountability from them. This year they're saying, oh, look at all of the injuries we have. Saka is injured, Odegaard was injured, Jesus is injured, Tomiyasu, God knows where he is, Timber was injured, Calafiori was injured, Merino was injured, and all these players have been injured. But last year, when we almost got no injuries whatsoever to all of our players, nobody was complaining. Everything was set for play. That, on the other hand, most of the Arsenal fans are keeping on the silent. Genuinely keeping on the silent side. And now we are basically in the reverse roles regarding Liverpool and Arsenal, because last year Liverpool had quite a few injuries and Arsenal had none, almost. And this year, Arsenal have had much more injuries compared to last year. Liverpool also have had injuries, just a little bit less. However, they have had players to replace certain positions. They have had proper youngsters like Kanash who can come in. They have Gakpo. They have, even as much as it's weird, but they have Darwin Núñez. They have players to rotate and maybe to put in the team, but whilst, for example, Jota is injured and everyone else is injured. Yes, you could argue that they are one injury away from total collapse for a certain player. Let's just say if Van Dijk goes down, if Salah goes down, and stuff like that. At the same time, why we are making hypotheticals? Why? What if they go down? What if they don't go down? What if they don't get injured? What are we gonna do then? What's gonna be the next excuse? I already can see this in the summer at the end of the season. Oh, Mikel Arteta didn't have striker. He didn't have all the necessary players. He didn't have the bench. I already can see the excuses. Just solely because he cannot get the job done. And for me, Arteta is not the man who's gonna get it done. He is our Brendan Rodgers. He's gonna get us to a certain point, but at that point, he needs to go, and basically he has paved the way to a certain extent to the next manager who's gonna carry us over the line, just like Brendan Rodgers did for Jurgen Klopp. It's insane that many people just don't want to see that. Yes, I know it's my opinion, you may not agree with, it is what it is, but the way I see this, I haven't seen too much improvement from Arsenal. The weird part is, no matter how you look at these things, Arsenal are not doing that bad this season, by the way, compared to previous seasons. But because the goals are there. Arteta can't lead us to anything. 3 times in a row Premier League title. That is the biggest thing. Marlon, if you don't like what I'm saying, don't watch. That's it. I'm just done. Genuinely, if you don't like, don't watch. 2 points off from last season. Everton draw, Fulham draw because of Martinelli, Villa draw, and both Brighton draws. Not good enough. 10 points dropped. Exactly. And let's not forget last season as well. We lost to Fulham. We drew to Fulham. We draw points against West Ham. We went 1-7 in December. The issue with this is though, like last year at the moment we are on 10 drop points, 10 games drop points. You see? 8 draws, 2 losses. Last year, on the other hand, the whole season we dropped only 10 games. 5 losses and 5 draws. Which ultimately means, yes, we have gotten 3 points more technically. But to win the league by the looks of things, from this point forward, we need to win every single game. All 14 games that are left. We need to win every single one. And do you think Arsenal can do that? Personally, I don't. I know they're gonna drop points. Dubai trip and everything, Dubai trip my ass. It's not gonna happen. Be real. Big up Nally, big up, big up, big up. Will it draw? And to be honest, you can balance this also, Nathan, by the way, if you're still here. You can also balance this out. Because the game we won at Villa Park, we arguably should have lost. Let's be real. We should have lost that game. Because the... Watkins missed an empty net. Watkins missed the Raya double save. The game against Wolves could have gone either way if Raya doesn't make insane world-class save and everything. There were games that could have gone the sour way as well for Arsenal. We just got lucky that we actually managed to win the games. There were those games as well. It all balances each other out at the end of the day. So I guess it is what it is. Big up Nally, big up. It's Salah to the rescue every time. I've seen the games. Yeah, that is. But don't act like we didn't have Alexis Sanchez, who had this in him, and he did that for us to get even top 4 at those times. Aubameyang did that for Arsenal as well. We solely relied on him. And currently, we are Saka FC. We are relying on Saka to produce goals, produce assists. And guess what? We are not nowhere near prepared for the fact that Saka is injured. And we are seeing this right now all the time. The thing is about Liverpool though, they have depth. They have players to rotate with. They still can attack. They still can create chances. With Arsenal, it's a big hit and miss. We never know what kind of Arsenal is going to turn up. The one that's going to get played against Newcastle, or the one that played against Nottingham Forest after international break when we won 3-0. You never know which Arsenal are going to turn up. Arsenal who beat City 5-1, or Arsenal who lost to Inter 1-0, or the one who drew against Fulham 2-2. You don't know which Arsenal is going to turn up, and that is the biggest issue. And that's basically why I think we cannot win the league this season. Because it's a bit of a mystery to realize and know what kind of Arsenal is going to turn up, what we're going to do on the pitch. With Liverpool, you kind of get the inkling what's going to happen more often than not. Same goes with other teams. If you exclude this season specifically, you know what City are going to do. With Arsenal, it's basically a coin toss these days. Especially in the last year and a half, it's a big coin toss to figure out what Arsenal are going to look like, what they're going to do on the pitch. And that inconsistency, arguably, is one of the biggest reasons why most likely we cannot do these things, especially attacking front. Because there are times, like it was against City, where from 7 shots on target, we scored 5 goals. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. But then again, we have games where we have 10 shots, 3 on target, and we do nothing. Those are useless shots. And then, of course, we have games like Newcastle, where we cannot even get a shot on target. That is the biggest issue, the inconsistency. Because it's happening way too often for a team that is going for a title. I get that one-off games can happen. Once, twice a season. I get it. But the fact that it's happening quite consistently on regular basis, on some point every 3, 4, or sometimes 5 games, that is not good. That is, again, not sustainable long term. That, for me, is the biggest issue. Salah doesn't play today. They lose the bottom championship team. To some extent, but you cannot deny the way their goalkeeper was playing, it was actually out of this world. I'm not gonna lie. That was out of this world how he was playing today. The saves he made in the last 5 minutes, that was actually kind of nuts. By Kane. Oh, don't even, Natalie, don't even start this. By Kane. Holy crap. I read today, by the way, that Arsenal could be considering triggering Harry Kane's 60 million release clauses. That could happen next summer. His release clauses kick in, and there are some random rumors that Arsenal actually might go for Harry Kane. Imagine the scenes if we actually sign Harry Kane. Imagine the scenes. Big up Pepper, big up my guy. They better win their first game back against Leicester. To be honest, the games we have coming up is actually it's actually kind of interesting because we have games against oh no, it's not messed up that much. We have game against Leicester, we have West Ham, and then we have Nottingham Forest. The thing is, we have Leicester. I'm gonna do this then now. I have to make it I need to make it a bit smaller now. So I guess it's gonna be like this. Now, you see, we have to play Leicester, which is first. We play in a week. Then we have West Ham. And remember last year how we looked against West Ham? It wasn't a great watch. Let's be real. It wasn't a great watch. Then we have Forest away, which alone is a very interesting game because Forest, again, we beat them at home. But it was very opportunistic circumstances for us because they were on a roll, international break hit, and they were off the roll when we played them. But Nottingham Forest can definitely get a result against us. And they are fighting for top 4, so they have everything to fight for. And as weird as it sounds, Nottingham Forest have better bench depth than Arsenal has. That is the biggest issue here. Then we have Man United away. And the worst, and again this game, it doesn't matter how awful Man United are. Against us, they always somehow manage to play good. Whether we make them play good, or whether they play them good themselves, it's a complete different story. Let's be real. Then we have a game against struggling Chelsea, which is still to be determined because the Champions League also is somewhere here in between. Time only will tell. And after that, it is a bit of an if we want to say the least, if we look at these things. But the one thing I quickly want to touch upon is the fact that, watch, game weeks 24, right? We're going to look at 22-23 season. We were first in the league, 55 goals scored, 23 goals conceded, 57 points, right? Remember, 57 points. We now fast forward to next season. We have 2 goals less scored, 1 less conceded, 5 less points. And now if we go to this season, right? We have scored 4 less goals, same goals conceded, and even 2 more less points. So you could make an argument to some extent we are regressing as well. That is what I'm taking away from this. It's a bit worrying, I'm not gonna lie. It is a bit worrying, but I guess it is what it is at the end of the day, but it is. Kwame doesn't agree. Big up Nally, big up Kwame. We shouldn't sign Harry Kane. He's played for enemy across the North London. Dude, you say that, but at the same time, we signed Sol Campbell, and look how that turned out. Look how that turned out when we signed Sol Campbell. And no matter what you say, Harry Kane is great with link-up play. He's a bagsman, and he still is arguably top three in between top 3 number 9s in the world. Top 5, let's just put it. He is one of top 5's number 9s in the world. No matter how you look at things, he's that good. He has no trophies to his name, but he still is one of the best strikers you can get on the market if you pay the right amount of money, in a way. If we dare to lose to Leicester and West Ham, head should roll. Yep, that is the big thing. It should have been already. Been long since our last corner goal, no Saka from the left. Exactly. It's not just Saka, it's in general. We haven't scored a corner goal in how long? We haven't had a close-up of Jover before a corner also in how many years? It feels like, imagine if we buy Kane, one of our own coming back. Yeah, Harry Kane was in Arsenal's academy. Arsenal didn't sign him to a professional contract because I think they had issues with his weight because he was a chubby kid. I think it was because of that. And yeah, rest is history, I guess. Kane's a joke, but honestly, good buy is a sign. Honestly, too. Arsenal ain't serious. As a fan of 51 years, we are still on. That's the biggest thing. That is the mad part. Arsenal currently need a rebuild for the rebuild they are doing whilst being in the rebuild. That is how Arsenal are currently operating. Genuinely, that is how they are operating. And that is the mad part in this, no matter how you look at these things. That is the wild part. Kane was on Arsenal's books before Tottenham. Yeah, he was. He was in our academy. That is the wild part. That's right, Robert. No way we should even sign one of our own. Dude, you cannot, like... I get it. I get this is the same thing as signing... for example, Messi going to Real Madrid whilst being at Barcelona. To some extent, let's just put it as it is. But he's not at Spurs anymore, first of all. He's at Bayern Munich, right? But second of all, things have happened like that. Luis Figo has played for both. Luis Figo has played for Real Madrid and Barcelona. Sol Campbell has played for Arsenal and Spurs. Carlos Tevez has played for United and City. There have been these things happening, Oxlade-Chamberlain for Arsenal and Liverpool, as wild as it sounds, let's be real. There have things like that happened before in history of football. It's just you don't see that happening too often. But if I basically would put you in between a choice right now in summer, you sign Harry Kane for 60 million or you don't sign striker at all, which one would you take? Let's just put it that way. As much as you don't want him here. I follow Premier League, not for long, Belgium competition, Trossard gang. Well, Trossard, it's also quite interesting to kind of still have no idea what's going to happen with Trossard at Arsenal, whether they're going to sell him or not, because Saudi came in with 40 million offer, Arsenal rejected it, they signed Galeno instead, so time will tell what's going to happen with Trossard in summer. Time only will tell also on that. But our attack issues are pretty much evident. We don't have a number 9, we don't have enough backups. it is a bit of a, it's not a bit of a, it's a massive struggle for Arsenal in that regard currently. Whether Arsenal are going to try to and improve on that in very, very soon, time only will tell, but currently it is very, very bad state. I would put it that way. Arsenal's attack is in a very, very bad state. Let's just put it that way. That's what I'm saying. And the biggest thing is we are 6 points behind Liverpool, right? If they win against Everton during the week on Wednesday, we are 9 points behind Liverpool, right? 9 points. Let's forget that there is a 4-game swing, there are 14 games to go and everything. If you look at our attack that we have currently and compare it to Liverpool's attack, it's night and day, first of all. Our attack currently, if you have Havertz, Trossard, Raheem Schillings, and Wanyeri, basically, at best, is a mid-table attack, at best. But if we look at other teams that have these attacks, Forest have better attack, Bournemouth have better attack, you could argue Crystal Palace have better attack. Most of the teams have Fulham, they have better attack. You could argue that most of the teams actually have better attacks. And we are not even talking about better managers, let's be real. We're talking about recruitment in general. And that is one of the biggest reasons why I don't think Arsenal are going to win anything this season. Because our attacking depth is not good enough to get us over the line in these situations. Because I'm just sitting here and thinking, how on earth, let's just say Champions League, we get Juventus or we get AC Milan, right? Italian teams notoriously well known for their defense and everything. Exceptions happen, but everything. How are we gonna tag to them? We played against Inter Milan. What did we do? 46 crosses. What came out of it? Fuck all. We played against Atalanta. We played a draw. Raya made a double save on Retegui because he didn't score a penalty. Besides that, did we do anything? Nothing. Again, we did fuck all. So, we haven't done anything against the Italian teams. So let's just say even if we get past Juventus or AC Milan for some reason, we're gonna get Atletico Madrid or Real Madrid or someone like that, or Barcelona. Do you think we have any chances against any of those teams? Any chance whatsoever? Especially against Atletico Madrid and Diego Simeone and his passion and defensive tactics. Do you think with this attack we can do anything against them? That for me is the biggest picture on this. That for me is the biggest picture I'm looking at. And currently it is not looking too good, to say the least. Stop spamming. Marlon, stop spamming. Anyways, in some other news, apparently Ben White, Gabriel Martinelli and Ben White are in training. They are training. Martinelli is training despite the injury. He's been ruled out for over a month. I assume he's doing some light training like weightlifting and some light work and everything. I think he's doing something in that regard. But ultimately, yeah, it doesn't look like he's doing too badly. He's not doing too big of a work, but I think at some point he's gonna do it. He's gonna do a bit better. But currently, yeah, he is on light training, but he is training, which is good. But still, 5 weeks, it's not that good at all. Simeone will smile for the first time if he gets us. Simeone is actually doing an incredible job. He's been there for a very long time. He hasn't won nothing, I think, in the last 3-4 years. But overall, he's doing a fantastic job. He's third best paid manager in world football. And deservedly so. He has won La Liga multiple times. He's doing somewhat decently in Champions League. Hasn't won it yet, but he still has gone to finals. He's throwing challenges. He's always going toe-to-toe with Atletico, with Barcelona and Real Madrid. He has won stuff, basically. He deserves that. Not even to mention Ancelotti and Hansi Flick, let's be real. But if we get Simeone, we may as well chop it all up and just go instantly. The biggest chance we have, arguably, is against Barcelona. But even though it's a very slim chance. Very slim chance. Real Madrid, yes, they have defensive issues. They have both of the right backs injured currently, so that means Valverde is going to play right back. Militao is injured, Alaba is injured again, and Rudiger is injured. So they have no defense. They're playing an 18-year-old, 19-year-old at center back who is basically carrying the team defensively. They have to play Chouameni as a center back. That is the big thing as well. So, given the injuries they have, it genuinely it looks like sooner or later Saliba or maybe even and Gabriel might be going to Real Madrid. One of them definitely. Because given the injuries, they have 3 main center backs injured and they have to play a number 6 as a center back and a teenager from academy as a center back. The biggest thing about this is, though, Real Madrid fans don't let team off the hook. I don't see Real Madrid fans complaining when games don't go their way because of these issues. They keep the club accountable. They whistle before and after the games when the player names get called out before the games when they are dropping useless performances, and they are on Florentino Perez's case for not signing and recruiting the necessary players. Yes, in La Liga, the club is owned by fans, and they keep everyone accountable to maximum extent. If any of that is happening in Premier League, that instantly gets called toxic, negative, you're a fake fan, we don't claim you, you're an idiot, and you're deluded. And that's how it's going. I just wish for a change, we actually would hold our club accountable for some things. Because when I look at Arsenal and our fan base, big part of the fan base thinks Arteta can do no wrong, Kroenke can do no wrong, Saka is the next coming since Jesus, basically, and Arteta will fix it all. Arteta is basically Moses or Gandhi or whoever. He's gonna solve the Arsenal hunger for trophies. He's been here for 5 years. 6 years nearly. 5.5 years. And we haven't won anything besides an FA Cup, which was with not even his own team. Yeah, imagine. Skelly versus Yamal. Imagine that. Skelly versus Yamal. Skelly versus Rodrigo or Mbappe. Or Vini. Depends how they rotate in the game because they shift all over the place. Imagine that. Not to mention if one of our players is even injured, because Saliba, God knows what's happening there and everything, but overall, imagine how we're going to deal with that. How, for example, Arsenal's midfield of Partey and something like that, which got overrun by much pacier midfield, and Merino, for example, are going to deal with Valverde, are going to deal with Chouameni, Camavinga, even Modric to a certain extent, Brahim Diaz, Arda Güler. Imagine how they would deal with that. I just cannot see it. Our defense, our team is just not ready for that. Genuinely not ready for that, in my opinion. But hey, time will tell who we're gonna get. We still need to get past the next round, so we cannot look at it too far. And this is what Natalie was talking about, by the way. This is what Natalie was talking about. This is what Natalie was talking about. She said that Arsenal should buy Kane. This is what she said. Arsenal should buy Kane. And here it is. Harry Kane is keeping tight-lipped on reports that he could make a shock move to Arsenal next year because of release clause in his Bayern Munich contract. Imagine just the scenes that would cause. It would be actually quite insane to watch, I'm not gonna lie. The scenes that if this would go through, right? The scenes that it could cause, it actually would be insane. That actually would be insane. What about the Harry Kane curse? Well, what about this? What about this then? Bundesliga table. Bundesliga table. Bayern Munich currently are 8 points clear. There are still 13 games to go. Harry Kane actually is, as Pepper is saying, going to get trophy this year. Leverkusen is failing. They are not having as good of a season. If you look at Bayern Munich's record, they have lost 1 game, 3 draws, 17 wins. They have scored 65 goals and only 19 conceded. Like, isn't that saying everything you need to know? Genuinely, isn't that saying everything to need to know? And if we look at Bundesliga top goal scorers currently, Harry Kane is the number 1 goal scorer with 21 goals and 6 assists. On top of that, On top of all that, Harry Kane has 21 goals for Bayern Munich this year, and Bayern Munich have scored 65. He has scored 33% of Bayern Munich's goals this season in Bundesliga. That is the big thing. But yeah, it all circulates back to this basically. I don't know whether it's true or not. It could be just a random yellow page story as always, but who knows? Genuinely, who knows? Leverkusen failed, yeah. Olise, man. Why we didn't get Olise? £45 million. Why we didn't go for Olise in the summer? We much rather sign Calafiori for 45 million and Mikel Merino for 35 million rather than the like this. It's just actually nuts. That is actually nuts. That is not. If you think it's actually insane that we didn't sign, because Olise would be perfect for Arsenal. Can cover for Saka, can cover for Odegaard. He can do both. He was fantastic for Crystal Palace, and he's fantastic for Bayern Munich. Why we didn't go for him is still a big mystery for me. Still, we much rather spend 35 million on Fabio Vieira rather than, well, 2 years ago obviously, but rather than sign 45 million for Olise. Much rather spend 45 million on Italian Zucchini rather than sign Michael Olise. Rather spend 35 million on Merino rather than sign Michael Olise. Make it make sense. Like, genuinely, make it make sense. Why we want these mid-table, lower-end Conference League level players instead of actually signing Champions League level players? And the worst part is these mediocre Conference, maybe Europa League level players, we put on Champions League money afterwards, on Champions League wages. So maybe in a years and a half time, when we realize, oh shit, we have messed up, he's not good enough, we cannot sell them. We genuinely cannot sell them. And then we are again in the pickle, and as always, Arsenal do their usual thing. They let them go away for free or loan out and run down their contract. Money well spent. Company coach, my countryman. Yeah, Company could actually win a league before Mikel Arteta. Genuinely. It could happen this year, 13 games to go. And Bayern Munich doesn't look like they're gonna slow down. They're blitzing pretty much everyone. 21 games, 65 goals. They scored 3 goals every single game pretty much. It's very hard to lose a game when you score 3 goals. It happens very rarely when you draw 3-3 or lose 4-3, 5-3. It happens very, very, very rarely. That is the big thing. I don't like... Yeah, but yeah, Olise is a top player. There is no hate. And relax. There is no hate. It's pure opinion. I realize that you have turned from everyone out to a top gunner. But yeah, chill. Stop spamming as well. Yeah, we overpay insane amounts. Zinchenko is on 150, Martinelli on 170. There was some other stupid wages. Like 120, like 130 is Merino on, I think, or 140 Mikel Merino is on, something like that. It's actually insane. And of course, Kai Havertz is on 285 grand. But to some extent, you cannot even blame a player for that. Because the club has negotiated, Tim Lewis with Garlic and everyone have negotiated these wages. It's not their fault, it's the agent and everything. There's nothing from player. Player thinks, oh, I'm going to go to Arsenal, probably going to get about 180 to 200. Then an agent calls, yo, listen what? These morons are going to give you 285 bags a week. Yo, you what? And he just goes, yeah, be there in a second. Deal signed, well, take it or leave it. That's your issue. We still have to pay about, what, 15, 20 million for him in... no, we still have to pay. He has contract till 2027, right? So that's 4 years. We need to still pay Kai Havertz about 50 million in wages alone. Yearly wages. Exactly. See? You have it. You have it, and the real of us too. Exactly. Even if you score 3 against Bayern, they'll score 4, like what happened to Holstein killed the other. Exactly. Bayern Munich in that regard, especially under Company, are different gravy. I wouldn't be surprised that even in Champions League they do something. Yes, they struggle in the group stages a bit, but definitely if they get their shit straight, it actually could be kind of nuts. I have been an Arsenal fan since 1974. Damn. Yeah. It's actually nuts. It is what it is. Anyways, swiftly moving on. There were rumors circulating that Dubai is doing wonders for our players. Let's just put it that way. The magic of Dubai. And apparently Ben White's progress in Dubai could see him make an immediate return to the squad to face Leicester City. I would assume it's on the bench, not as a starting player, first of all. Because if he starts instantly, that would be just the dumbest thing in the world. But yeah. However, Mikel Arteta will not take any unnecessary risks with the defender. That's an ironic twist on things. Ironic twist on things. Because ultimately, he played Rice with broken toe against Chelsea. Odegaard half recovered, not even fully recovered against Chelsea. Saka with ankle issues throughout the whole season. He was on pain medication. And Ben White was playing in the necessity of a surgery. He still was playing. But after all this is done, all of a sudden, he's switching his tune and he's not going to take unnecessary risks. That's an ironic twist on things, isn't it? That actually is kind of nuts if you think about it. Somehow everything has changed all of a sudden. It's weird. It genuinely is weird. In that regard, at least. That is actually kind of nuts. Let's just put it that way. But it is what it is. I can't see us winning Prem UCL against something. Yeah. That's the biggest thing. The biggest thing is, as well for me, that there have been countless times when we have been in a very opportunistic situations to go through into semifinals, to go through into the finals, to win it. But Arsenal always somehow manages to shoot themselves into the foot. Somehow. Always. Happened against Olympiacos, happened against Monaco, happened against Villarreal, happened in the cups, as always. We always manage to screw ourselves up because no other team has made us lose the league, lose the cup, or win anything. It always has been our own doing. And that is big issue because most of Arsenal fans these days like to basically say, oh, it's due to injuries. Oh, it's due to other teams. Oh, it's due to referee decisions. Oh, it's because of this, because of that. But they never say it's our own club's fault. Because last year, it wasn't one game that cost us the league. Last year, the start of the season cost us the league. The December cost us the league. Because we drew to 10-man Fulham at home. Because we lost to West Ham. Because we lost to Fulham again. And we did all those things. But ultimately, nothing was in our way to stop and win those games. Nothing. Nothing was stopping us from winning those games. Besides the fact that we didn't have a striker to win, to score goals. We couldn't finish our chances. We made dumb decisions. Our defense, as good as it was at certain points, it was actually kind of useless at times. We played Thomas Partey as a right back for some weird goddamn reason in the beginning of the season, and Gabriel was benched, hence why we drew to Fulham and everything. It's actually kind of insane that there's never accountability for our players and our manager. It's always something else that has gone wrong. And that is a big issue and why the club, to some extent, is where it is at the moment, in my opinion at least. So take that as you will. Let me know what you think in that regard as well. Our season has gone. If we bought a striker last summer, then definitely we have a chance to win silverware. But this is the brutal truth. We failed to sign a striker and have paid the price. And ultimately, even with Saka's injury, even with Odegaard's injury, that is the case. Because throughout the whole season, we've been sitting here, and every single game, we have been watching Kai Havertz as a number 9 miss 3-4 chances every single game almost. And the worst part is, from those chances, at least 2 chances have been 100% guaranteed goals. He misses chance from 2 yards out, from 4 yards out, he misses an open header, he misses the ball, he screws up the pass, he does something. As much as Kai Havertz is not the striker, and as much we cannot kind of try and judge him, he's being played there. So he has to hold that in a way, because as much as it is on the manager because he signed him, at the same time, you would think he would be doing a bit better there. Let's just put it that way. You would think he would do better there. Because if we put a proper striker in that position, like Ivan Toney, like even only Watkins, let's be real, and other strikers, right, we have been linked with to some extent, Gyökeres, not to even mention that, or Isak or someone, at least 50% of chances that Havertz misses, the easy ones by the way, are turned into goals, more often than not, right? And if we looked at those goals, more often than not also would decide the games, like against Brighton when we drew, when we were 1-1, like against Man United we would still be in FA Cup, against Newcastle we would have better chance, against Bournemouth, against other teams. Even last year there were times where we needed him to score and he misses empty net chances, and it's been weaving throughout the whole season all the time on consistent basis. And you cannot help but think, if Arsenal actually had a brain cell and they spent 60, 70, 80 million on a proper bagsman up top, and we put him up top instead of Kai Havertz, arguably we currently would be on top of Premier League. At worst, we would be 1-2 points behind Liverpool, or even on the same points. We most likely would be on top of Premier League. We would have much bigger chance on but progressing through further in Champions League. We would have much bigger chance in FA Cups, in Carabao Cups. Because when the January just began, January 1st, we still were in FA Cup, Carabao Cup, obviously Premier League and Champions League. Fast forward 3 weeks, from that point forward, we are not anymore in FA Cup and Carabao Cup. And you could argue, if we had a striker, if we basically had put deals in place to sign a striker January 2nd, for example, we would have a striker for FA Cup game against Man United. And if we have that striker up front, you don't think he bags? Of course he's gonna bag, especially in those chances that Havertz got. Most likely gonna bag. Let's be real. And we would have still been in FA Cup. We would have faced yesterday Leicester. God knows if it would happen. But no, we fall out of FA Cup. We fall out of Carabao Cup. And what are the consequences? The team gets rewarded with a trip to Dubai. That is the case. Because let's be real, if we beat Man United, we are not in Dubai. 100% we are not in Dubai. We are still in the FA Cup. We are looking forward to the next round. If we beat Man United, we are not going to Dubai. Dubai would be just a myth. Nobody would say, we won't even be going there. But since we failed in the Cups, that's our reward. We fly to Dubai and pray for the best. Play for the best. Big up Mobos, big up, welcome. Big up, big up, big up. Thank you. Thank you very much. And that, for me, it's the same thing. I don't mind being proved wrong. If Arsenal win the league or Champions League this season, I'm gonna be sitting here, holding my hands up and say, fair play. Arteta, you proved me wrong. Certain players, most likely, I have to say they're gonna prove me wrong. I'm gonna be sitting here and doing that. I have no problem with admitting that I'm wrong, but currently, I don't have any inkling and trust in the team that we gonna win more likely 14 out of 14 games in Premier League to win the title. We basically, because we need a 4-game swing alone to be on the same points or get ahead of Liverpool. That leaves 10 games. And I kind of don't see us dropping these games. Well, I don't see us winning all of the games. I see us dropping points. And it's inevitable that Liverpool are gonna drop points. But the issue with that is, I kind of see Arsenal dropping more points. and at best the same amount of points as Liverpool, hence why we are not going to get too closer to them. Lee Judges came out and said that he might not renew season ticket. This is what club is... Yeah, that is the case. This is what this club does to these teams. To these fans, sorry. Last year as well. Was it last year? When was it? I think it was 2 years, 3 years ago. I saw a fan who tore up his season ticket and threw it away because he didn't want to go. I've seen fans, I've heard on streams and everything, who go live on streams. 50 years they're going to games. 50 years they're going with season ticket every single time, and they just cancel it. They just cannot watch this shit anymore. 21 years without a league, winning Premier League, never winning Champions League. 32 years without winning Carabao Cup. On an odd chance here or there winning the FA Cup randomly. That is for me the biggest thing. That is painful in that regard. Would you be pro a takeover of Arsenal and Spotify and Thierry Henry? Yes. Yes, I would. I would. I'm not gonna lie, I would. Predominantly because Thierry Henry actually cares about Arsenal. Whenever he talks about Arsenal, he always says we. He always says we. He never says them, they, Arsenal, or whoever. He always says we. And that alone just says that he cares about Arsenal. He always talks about Arsenal at the highest standard. Always. His favorite player he has ever played with is Dennis Bergkamp. It's not Barcelona teammates. It's not nobody else. It's always Dennis Bergkamp. Oh, Stricto did that, exactly. The Monarchs can be... Well, I wouldn't say they are a problem at this club. There are people on... I wouldn't say they're a problem, but then they have nothing to do with that. Yes, you could say there are issues with some people who are there. You would say that there are some issues with PR that's happening in regards Arsenal on that channel. I 100% could say that. Because it's very odd that they have gone from one end of the spectrum to the other like that instantly. So it's a bit of a weird one, I'm not gonna lie. But ultimately, you cannot fully drop everything on a YouTube channel. It's a business at the end of the day for them as well, so they will say what they need to say to get the clicks, right? But it's a business, and they run it how they deem this business being run enough to provide profits. And same goes for Cronkies. For them, Arsenal is also only a business. They don't care about football. Tim Lewis, Richard Garlick, they are not football people. They are corporate lawyers, corporate management staff people. They are not football people. And to some extent, to have a proper board, you need to have football people in there. People who realize how the wheels maybe be turning in players' heads, how this game works. But if you have corporate heads in that position, they just know basically point per point situations. They don't look at the whole picture. They just look what's in front of them. And that is a big issue. Rob should take over and get rid. Good. Someone AFTV still keeps standards high and critical. Exactly, that is the case. Big up Yardman for that. He doesn't care what other people say. He's doing his things. He's saying his things. Ultimately, he keeps the standards high. And the amount of disagreements he gets, it's actually kind of nuts. It is actually insane. But big up to him for standing for his opinion, keeping the standards high, and never giving up or giving in. Just gotta put it that way. Yardman is correct, exactly. Yardman is correct. He's always, when he speaks absolute facts about Arsenal, about the board, about the management, about the manager, and in general about the players. It's kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts in that regard. AFT is getting facts that Arteta can't lead. They have switched tune in recent times. I'm gonna put it that way. Everything was fine and dandy until a certain point. But the louder the Arteta outbeat started to become, the more they switched the tune as well, interestingly enough. And to some extent, the prime AFTV was when Wenger out was a massive trend. Let's just put it that way. When Wenger out was a massive trend and everything was very hectic in the club and fan base, that was the prime AFTV. You know, Troops, Claude, rest in peace, big up Claude, DT, and everyone else. That was the prime AFTV at the time, and they kind of switching back to it in a bit. They were rooting, yeah, and that is the mad thing. Every single fan, so-called Arsenal fan, who tells me I'm a fake fan, I need to piss off down the lane, support Spurs and everything, are the same people who last year in May, when Spurs were playing Man City at the shite stadium, when Son was one-on-one with the keeper, had their pants down for Heung-min Son and the Spurs for him to score against Ederson or Ortega. I forgot who was the goalie. They had their pants down for that to happen. They were the same people who are basically dissing, for example, me, Lee Gunner, Troops, and other people, Northside, Jazz, Kennick, and all of the guys who are calling out these things. They are they say that we don't claim you, you are a fake fan and everything, you're just toxic and negative. Those are the same people who basically were supporting Spurs last year in May. They had pants down for Son being one-on-one. Those are the same people. And that just seems very nuts to me, personally. Yarman is now speaking on his own channel calling, yeah, big up Yarman. Big up to Yarman as well. He's speaking facts and everything. That is he's doing big things as well. He's speaking facts on AFTV. It's giving him AFTV to some extent is giving him a platform to speak his opinion, which also has allowed him to some extent set up his channel. He has set up his channel, he's speaking on there. He can speak more freely there because no matter how you look at things, there is a bit of a censorship in terms of what gets said on AFTV. At least looks that way. The way that some things are being said, the way some things are getting interrupted when some people are in the role of saying things, and the way some videos are cut and then put out. Very random cuts, and that's a weird one. But yeah, if you can speak freely, that's big to you. And AFTV backart said there are just two, 3 people who want him out ultimately. True, yeah, Troops, DT, Mo, Claude, Bully, Heavy, yeah, those days. Lee Gunner as well, he used to be on it as well, yeah. Exactly, big up Yardman. Turkish Dan, DJB make a lot of sense. Exactly, Curtis speaks as well, Curtis Shaw TV. There are lots of fans who speak lots of sense and call this stuff out. The issue about this is we still are a big minority in the fan base. Big minority, because they still think Super Duper Mick is the best one ever we have seen on the place of Earth. He's the second coming of Jesus, and he will solve Arsenal's issues like Gandhi is gonna solve world hunger, basically. That's what they see in these things. They still think the cement mixer is the best thing since sliced bread, and cement mixer is a proper striker we need to sign. But it is what it is at the end of the day. It is what it is. At some point, the penny is gonna drop because it feels like we are not too far away from the Wenger days when fans were flying banners, putting out banners in stadiums, flying banners over the stadium on airplanes with Wenger out, get out of the club, and it's time to go and stuff like that. Fans were fighting each other, Wenger ins versus Wenger outs in the stadium, outside the stadium, near the stadium, in the toilets of the stadium. If this gets more hectic and we don't win and the board doesn't actually do the right things, we are not far off from that. I'm just gonna put it that way. We are not too far off from another this type of level situation. Whether it's gonna go to the same extremes and same extent, time only will tell. But currently, we are heading in that direction on a certain level. We all know Son missed on purpose. I don't care. We should not rely on Heung-min Son to score against City for us to win the league. We should not rely on that. We lost to Villa at home 2-0. We lost to Fulham away. We lost to West Ham. We drew against Everton. We lost to Everton. I don't recall now on top of my head. We drew against 10-man Fulham at home. We should not be relying on other teams to give us favors. If we get the job done ourselves, we would have won the league. We shouldn't rely on some penalties, on refereeing decisions going our way to win stuff. at the end of the day. If we get the job done ourselves, we would have done it and we would have won it. Let's be real. But we didn't. And this is the big thing for me with Arsenal. No matter how things go, no matter how great it looks for Arsenal, at some point we manage to shoot ourselves in the foot somehow. We have done it before and we do it again. It's like the bozo gene with Gabriel that he used to have. He doesn't have it almost at all anymore. He has it on occasion, but not as much. And it's the same thing with Arsenal. We always manage to shoot ourselves in the foot when it matters the most, to some extent. And we fall under the pressure. That is the big thing. We will never win a major trophy unless we knock down the Emirates. This place is cursed. The way I see this, it might be controversial. I don't know whether you agree with not. But for me, it's like this. The day we moved from Highbury to Emirates, it was the day when the soul of the club, I don't want to say fully left, but big, like 95% of the soul left the club. Because since we moved to Emirates, we haven't won the league, and we still haven't won the Champions League. We still cannot compete against Europe's biggest teams, and we are just nicking random cups here or there. We have turned more into a franchise, into a business, than we actually are a football club. And I think the biggest part of the club, the part that's really missing from Arsenal right now specifically, is at Highbury, was left at Highbury. The soul, the essence of the club, arguably, has been left at Highbury, and now we are just a corporate side of the club. We are just a building, because the Emirates also don't sound that amazing. I have the opportunity to turn down the commentators and just watch football games with the sounds from the stadium, with fans, obviously, right? And it's not the same, nowhere near. And Emirates quite a bit are hella quiet, are very, very quiet. Many times. At the times when it should be rocking, it should be loud, like Newcastle. There's phenomenal atmosphere there. Obviously, smaller stadiums have a fantastic atmosphere there and everything. Anfield has a fantastic atmosphere, but when you go to Emirates, it's just, you can genuinely see it and sense it that it is not it. So many times. At Old Turf Highbury, we were successful, but Emirates not that much. Despite under Wenger, we won 3 FA Cups, and with Arteta one. That is the big thing. That is the big thing, and this is, I think I could, I think I will end on this, the stream, if I can find it. If I can find this. If I can find this. If I can find the tweet, because there was a tweet, I was, oh, for fuck's sake. I was watching today and I couldn't find it. There was a tweet. Wait. Arsenal FA Cup. Will I find it? Will I find it? Will I find it? Will I find it? Because that is the big thing. It was all over my timeline during the day, and I genuinely didn't like it. I should have, but I didn't, and that's gonna eat me alive right now. That's gonna eat me alive right now, sadly. Five years Arsenal. I cannot find this. I'm very sorry. I'm just looking at it live, and I genuinely cannot find this, and which is the big which is very, very annoying for me personally. Which is very, very annoying. I know you're sitting here patiently waiting, but I just cannot find this. I saw my tweet. That is kind of nuts, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, gonna get to the chat in a second. Gonna get to the chat in a second. I guess it is what it is. We're gonna leave it without it. I cannot find it. I genuinely cannot find it. Sad but truth. Sad but truth. Anyways, back to the chat we go. Nah, he's not. He is not. This club's real fans aren't on social media. Definitely wrong. How is he a league gunner wannabe? He called others sincerely like... Exactly. Lee Gunner even didn't want Arteta at Arsenal. He said it before Arteta got signed. I'm Arteta out already. He said it 1 month before Arteta was signed. He didn't even give him time at first. Then he won the FA Cup and he gave him 1 more or 2 more years, but obviously it's not working out and he's still Arteta out. He never was fully convinced. I like listening to Turkish DJB and Dan. They talk facts about our club and we're heading the... So right to be critical of Kroenke is an Arteta. Yeah, that is 100% truth. I was the same as league owner. I told that I don't want this man managing my club. Exactly. Big up to you. Big up to you. You knew that shit was about to go down. Basically, that's what that means at the end of the day. You knew that shit is about to go down. So it is what it is. But yeah. So I guess it is what it is. But I quickly is still trying to find one thing. If I find it, it could be fantastic. If I don't, I don't. Only time will tell, obviously. If I find it. But yeah, let me know what you think about Arsenal currently. Okay, I know what Marlon thinks because he's a top gunner right now. To some extent it feels like, but I get it. I totally get it. If you need to support, you cannot support. You can support. I'm not judging anyone, let's be real. It's your opinion, you can support and everything, just as long as you don't spam the chat and don't interrupt the chat in talks. Give me 1 minute. I'm just quickly checking one thing I want to find, and that is the big issue here. I just want to find one thing. If I don't find it, we're gonna close down the stream. We're gonna close down the stream if we don't find it. Arsenal want to sign Mark Gehi. Oh, this is going well. Arsenal are already looking for Saliba replacement and have identified Mark Gehi as the replacement for William Saliba. Oh, here we go, wrong. Here we go, guys. Here we bloody go. This is already happening. The PR is getting pushed out when something goes wrong. This is not looking too good, is it? This is not looking too good, is it? Anyways, I cannot find it, so I guess it is what it is. I'll survive. Anyways, I think on that note, kinda, my friends thought I was crazy, but over the years we have been, yeah, that is the case. That is the case. Anyways, I think on that note, I'm gonna end today's stream. Thank you guys so much for chilling. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. Have a nice evening, have a nice week tomorrow, because Monday begins again. And you have to stop with this, Marlon. Genuinely. Fuck's sake, turn off. Thank you. But yeah, have a nice evening, have a nice day tomorrow. Enjoy your time. Hey, yo. Don't start this again, by the way. Kwame and Marlon yesterday had a 25-minute discussion on the stream, in the chat, how Kivior is better than Saliba. Genuinely. That was one of the wildest things I have read while I'm streaming. I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, I think on that note, I'm gonna end today's stream in general. Have a nice evening. Take care. Stay safe. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. See you all tomorrow. And... well, try to relax, try to enjoy some time off whilst Arsenal are not playing, because once it comes back, it could go either way. Just prepare yourself, let's just put it that way. So take care, stay safe, and see you all tomorrow.